run in particular to my dog Charlie, who yesterday morning had to be put down. So I thought the best way to tribute him is to run the one game that's about man's best friend himself. So this one's for you, buddy. So, alright.
That's actually pretty sweet.
Yeah, so yeah, I'll give you the countdown in all and go. So 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so this is Scooby-Doo Night of 100 Frights. This is one of the few many licensed games that came out in the PlayStation 2 era, alongside SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom and other such games based on TV shows around that time. This game in particular is kind of one of those collect-a-thon platformers you'd see around that era, so, you know, basic, go around each level, grab stuff, and enjoy your time while doing it. In this game, well, in this run rather, I will be doing any percent no GGS, so the whole particular point to this run is that in regular any percent there is a very, very hard trick towards the end of the run called Green Ghost Skip, and it is a very, very, very precise trick. It requires quite a lot of frame-perfect inputs, which I don't like using that term a whole lot, but it's just what it is. So to cut out of that run, we don't actually have to do Green Ghost, and it only wastes about 5 minutes to actually do Green Ghost, and it actually makes the run way more interesting and way more safer in my opinion. So this will be the category I'll be doing. But there are other categories that suffice as well if you don't feel like doing any percent, since there are categories like all bosses that fights all the bosses in the game, you know, no levels early that doesn't skip anything, and quite a few others. We have a huge arbitrary category list. So one of the main form of movement with Scooby is that he has this charge move. You just hold B, regular stuff, and if you are holding the run button down, which is R, and just occasionally hold B, and just let go and hold B again, you can reset the charge infinitely. So I will be doing that quite a lot during this run. So this beginning part is just pretty normal. You just go through all the beginning levels till you get the double jump. So I'll use this time to explain the whole point of the collectibles I'm picking up. So I'm picking up Scooby Snacks. If you've ever watched the show, yeah, haha, that's what they grab all the time. Pretty much the Scooby Snacks are the currency in this game. You use them to pay for snack gates at certain points in the levels. There are 3 to 4 snack gates we have to pay in this run in particular, but the major one is the one at the end before the final level, which is an 850 snack gate. So expect to see me pick up quite a few snacks. I'll be going out of my way to pick up quite a lot. Alright, so that's one of the few snack gates we have to pay. That one's only a short one, it's only 50 snacks. Alright, so in this level here, you can't actually jump off this little black tar, because you're supposed to not be able to do it until you have a certain special ability. But if you just jump off onto random things, you can actually just jump off them, and that just completely nullifies the use of the specific skill. So yeah, since this is a video game based off Scooby-Doo, you'll hear a lot of Reichs and Rut-Rows and laugh tracks, which is very common. The laugh tracks usually happen when you fuck up. So I like to think of it as the game laughing at me. Right there are actually death abuse to go right back to the beginning of the level. Every time you die, you get sent back to the beginning of the level, or in some cases, the last checkpoint. So it was faster to just jump into the water and die. Alright, so right here I'm going to do a menu for the warp gate. So warp gates pretty much warp you all the way around the map, so you don't have to just backtrack through all of them. It's quite simple and easy. But you can only activate warp gates in levels you've been to, so you can't just warp to any random level. So on the edge and the hedge, by the way, all the levels all have puns in them, so keep an eye out for that. On the edge and the hedge actually has a notorious skip that will unfortunately not be showcased because it's currently impossible through RTA methods, which is hedge skip. The gate that I passed by at the beginning, you can actually clip through, and it takes you right to the end of the level because it's supposed to be one of those one-way gates that takes you all the way back to here when you reach the end of the level. And that would skip having to go through the entire hedge maze to get the football helmet. Unfortunately, it's a task-only trick, just because of the angles and all that jazz, and having to hold B at certain frames and snore. So, thanks to no GGS's longer route, and the fact that we go to more areas with more snacks, I don't have to really worry about my snack route all that much. There are multiple areas where I can grab backup snacks if I fall short. As an example is back there, if you see up there, there are quite a few snacks I can grab back there, but I won't be grabbing them now, because I come back through here later. Alright, so coming up is actually one of the first skips of the run. Took us this long to get to it, but it's fine. Before I do it, I'm going to quickly grab all these snacks on this route, so I can be alright for snacks. I need roughly 235. Yeah, that's fine. I'm going to Death Abuse to go back to the beginning of the level. Alright, so right here I'm going to do what we call Skull Cliff Skip backwards, where if you go through this corner at a very specific angle and charge, you can clip through and go through the one-way gate. So yeah, so now we're about 75% through the game. But we won't be going anywhere forward, we'll only be going backwards, because we'll be going back through this level, Skull Cliff, from part 4 to back to part 1, because of the fact that the beginning of the level is actually at the end of Hedge Maze. So it's actually faster to go backwards through Skull Cliff Skip and not have to play any snack gates, than to go forwards and have to sit through a full 2 sections of levels. So yeah. So this will, by the time we finish with this level, this will take us all the way back to the end of Hedge Maze to get the football helmet. But that's the one cool thing I like about this game, and how kind of non-linear it is that these levels are entirely possible backwards. So you don't have to worry about having to do any specific tricks. It's a two-way level. There's no one-way tricks in this in these levels. Oh, I'm grabbing this snack box. I want it. So I'm going to use this time to just quickly explain some of the history with Scooby. Quite a while back, I'd say around the end of 2014 to beginning of 2015, I dabbled in this game a little bit and tried to look for a few glitches, but I ended up coming up short for anything. Like there wasn't really any tricks that were really useful to the run. And around then, the run was actually around 1 hour 50 minutes by a guy called Goldphnx, and he used to run it on the PlayStation 2. Quite a few months afterwards, Cooper Crisp, who is quite popular with Sly, and also he ran Cage for a few days, he started looking for a few tricks that could save time in this run, and one of them ended up being a way to skip the major boss Redbeard, who is the third boss you're supposed to fight in the game. So this pretty much saved quite a lot of time because you didn't have to go through all the ship levels and fight him. And it was actually a really precise trick, but this dropped the run by about 20 minutes-ish. So that was quite a huge thing. Next, they also found a trick that you'll be seeing quite soon. I'll perform and I'll explain when I get to it, which is Fishy Early, which skips the entire of the manor section of the game, which skips the first boss, Black Knight. So that skips a quite major part, which saves another 20 minutes. So by now the game is roughly an hour 10, and then a way to skip Redbeard properly, so as in a way to go through to the lab, which is the final level of the game, without having to do any of the ship section, have to do the entire docks. That saved a significant amount of time. So the game by now is about 50 minutes long, and right there I just kill myself to get some of my health back. But now we're in the end of Hedge Maze, by the way, so now we've just skipped the entire Hedge Maze, and we're gonna get the full bore helmet. But yeah, the game pretty much skipped 2 of the 4 major bosses, which was pretty phenomenal. And then around the end of 2015, after I came around and did my few shticks to get world record and all that, Green Ghost Skip was found, which is the trick I mentioned earlier. So that skips 3 out of 4 major bosses, the 4th obviously being the final boss, and because we ended the timing on the final hit of the 4th boss, yeah, we can't really skip him. However, there is a category called Reverse Boss Order where you fight him first, and then sit through the credits, and then go back and do the rest of the bosses. Alright. So, I'd just like to mention, we can't actually damage enemies in our current state as Scooby, but now we've got the football helmet, we can now charge into them and kill them. So, yeah. Some death abuse again, to get back to the warp gate at the bottom of the level. And now we're gonna go back to the dock areas that we warped from earlier. I'm sorry if you hear my split noises during this, by the way, I forgot to turn them off. Alright, so in here is Fishy early. Okay, second try. So right there we used a jump reset to jump over the invisible barrier that stops you from getting to Fishy. The only way you can get to Fishy casually is by going through all the manual levels and beating the first boss, which gives you the galoshes, which is boots that stop you from getting stuck in the sticky mode. But we just skip all that, we don't need them. We don't need them for the rest of the game either. So now we're in Fishy Clues. This is my least favorite part of the whole run. This part, not only does it have ice physics, so Scooby doesn't have a lot of traction, but there are also conveyor belts that push you around, there's flying fish that can't be damaged, and there's a lot of mazes in this level, so yeah, I really don't like being here. But it's okay. Alright, so this level is a maze. There are 4 keys scattered around. We have a specific route to grab all 4, thanks to the cycles of this level. Which brings me on to another point. Besides one point, which we will get to later, this run doesn't really contain RNG. Everything is ran through cycles. As soon as you enter the level, everything will be on one specific cycle and will remain on that cycle until you exit the level. So basically, how fast you go is all dependent on how fast you get to specific points in the cycles. So as you can see, I've managed to make it to all the platforms while they're raising and lowering to save time than having to sit there and wait. Okay, so now we've got all 4 keys, so now the door will be open. I think I went a little too fast, yeah, I went too fast, so I had to wait for this platform to come back down. Okay. So this third part, this level will always make me laugh, because this level, it's very threatening when you play this casually. And especially when you're younger, because you see quite a lot of platforming to be done in the background, and how like making one small mistake in falling can easily like screw everything over, because you gotta start from the beginning again. And if you look back there, you can see all this platforming and, you know, spinning platforms that drop when you land on them, all that stuff. So yeah, it looks pretty threatening. Yeah, you gotta get to all that, but you can just jump over all of it. It's fine. You don't need to do it. Just You know, it's not like you need the snacks either. You can just grab the ones that are here. It's easy peasy, right? Easy video game. And fun fact, there is actually a visible wall to stop you from jumping over it, but, you know, it's just a simple double jump can make it over. And if you haven't realized by now, if you just haven't played any 5th generation consoles and just don't recognize button layouts, yeah, I'm playing on the GameCube version, as you can tell by all the X to enters, B's to leaves, and all that. This is because the GameCube version actually loads really fast compared to the PS2 version and the Xbox version. The Xbox version does have faster loads in a sense of a word, however, every load zone has a slow fade out every time you load in and out of level that you have to sit through. So yeah, that makes it, that does add up over time, and especially in death abuses, a load screen comes up every time you do a death abuse. Alright, so we've got 2 more snack gates to pay for the end of the run. But now we're out of Fishy Clue, and now we get to the to quite a fun part of the run. This part collects quite a lot of snacks. So, this is one of the few levels that you can die in, and it won't send you straight back to the beginning level. This is because this is what the developers like to call a long level, where you just split up into 2 sections. So if you died at the 2nd section, it will just send you back to the respawn point. And the reason I bring up this significance is because there is another death abuse in this level that I will be making use of. Because it skips a cutscene. So, coming up here, when it enters this cutscene, I'm going to just jump off the platform and skip having to sit through the cutscene showing off the 2nd section. And because I did the death abuse, you'll notice that the HUD never appears. That's just because of the way the game's programmed, I guess. It just doesn't show the HUD during the cutscene, and it still thinks we're in the cutscene. So yeah, it doesn't matter because it will reappear after we room transition. And just like in any other collectathon platformer that you might have played, like Banjo-Kazooie or other licensed games by Heavy Iron, this game likes to throw a lot of snacks and items that you can't collect due to having the lack of power-ups, which, you know, entices you to backtrack later on, which is hell for 100% looting, by the way. Okay. So this level's a bit loud, so I apologize. The Dazzle likes to peak during this. But this level contains folding boxes, which are always a great staple in platformers. But the deal with these boxes is their hitbox to kill you last as long as they are like on the ground. So they could be pulling up, and they will crush you. So if you just rub your nose against it, you'll die. It's not fun. But I got a fast cycle there, so it's okay. In the Xbox version, it's actually impossible to get 1 cycle just because of the fade outs making the cycle screwed over. Alright, so right here, I'm actually going to be doing the backwards version of this because I don't want to risk taking the extra hits for it. But those boats in the background you're not supposed to be able to grab until later on when you get the Super Smash and the Umbrella. However, a little developer oversight forgot to turn off the hitbox for the thing you're supposed to grab. So you can just grab it in the air and grab these early, which is really nice because this is a lot of snacks. And the other way you can do this is by taking damage off a flying fish and then running along the ground by using your invisibility frames, and it will let you go forwards. However, I wanted to do it the backwards way because I get a few extra snacks, just for safety. Alright, coming up is our penultimate snack gate that we'll be using. So now we gotta try and collect 620 snacks before the end of the run. Alright, so this is going down which way? This is the hub, I guess, of the ship levels. It takes you to 4 different levels. I don't know why I hit that warp gate. I just realized that this isn't no levels early. But yeah, this level's got quite a lot of snacks in it, so this is really nice. This also has a Indiana Jones segment right here. You run away from Walter. One sad thing about this run that I won't be able to show off all that much, it's only really applicable in the late parts of the run, and it's super applicable in any percent because you don't get the umbrella. But the main tech for this speedrun is that, this is intentional on the developer's part, but I don't think they realize how broken it can be, is that when you, whenever you double jump, you can't obviously double jump again in the air. However, if you hit any collision on a wall or on an object, that resets your jump. And if you're smart enough, you'll realize where this is going. That means if you hit certain collisions on a wall over and over again, you can infinitely jump, and you can reach higher areas than you shouldn't be hitting. So, yeah, kinda broken there a bit, Heavy Iron. What's funny about Heavy Iron is, although they are bankrupt now, developers that used to work for Heavy Iron actually speedrun this game and Battle for Bikini Bottom now, which is really interesting. When I found out that his name's Ncog, when I found out he runs any percent, I was actually giddying my little girl. Alright, so right here we got Super Smash. Super Smash is basically a ground pound, as you can see by Hit the Flying Fish. But we like to treat it as a third jump, because you can get some extra distance with it, and also gain some extra height, as you can see by me screwing up the skip for Lighthouse Fright House 2. I'll try that again. Dang. If I'll try it one more time, otherwise I'll just go through the level. Okay, yeah. So yeah, the deal with that there is that you can bounce off of that flying fish to get up to the warp gate as fast as possible. But going through the level doesn't take too much time. And plus I'm getting extra safety, so it's not really that much of a problem. Okay. I've got 2 courage right now, that's fine. Okay, so now we're gonna go back to the mystery machine. So we can go do Skullcliff skip again. This is the point in any percent where you would just go straight to the end of the game and do GGS. So this is where the route starts to split off. So you might think this is a bit familiar. We do actually have to go back through this little area to go back to Skullcliff. Because if we try to do it normally, we would still have to pay money. So, no money allowed here. I got 492. Yeah, I'm good on snacks. This is another thing about this run, is that you gotta really pay attention to your snack count. Do some inner math in your head. I will grab a few safety snacks just to make sure that I'm fine. So while I'm showing off these safety snacks, I get to show off a pretty unique one of the reset jumps, as I was saying earlier. You're not supposed to be able to grab these specific snacks until you get the galoshes later on in the night. But you can just kind of jump at this wall and reset your jump and get these snacks now. So, yeah, no biggie. Alright, 512, I'm definitely set on snacks now. Okay, so since we did the trick earlier, we don't actually have to clip again. The gate's just open for us very kindly, because it thinks we've already opened the gate. Alright, so now we're back to this level, and now we can actually do this normally. So this level has another kind of big skip, which is plunger skip. We skip having to get the plungers invention, which, like the galoshes, lets you stick to sticky walls. That, you know, that don't usually let you jump up. But we can just skip. This is the only required use for it, so we can just skip it by doing a few jumps. First, we need to lead these lovely fish over to us. Yes. Come over here. Still follow me? Yep. Okay. Hello? Come on. Alright, and then we just bounce off her head, and hope. I'm gonna have to wait for her to stop being dazed. Damn it. She needs to be a little bit closer to me. There we go. Okay, there we go. So that lets you skip having to get the plungers, which saves quite a bit of time. Alright, so this level you actually have to knock down these 3 icebergs to you know, do some platforming, but you only have to really knock down this one, and then you can just skip the entire level just by falling off here and jumping. I'm just gonna quickly grab some extra food for courage. And now we come to a pretty unfortunate point of the run. This is the order scroller. No way to really speed this up. Which is kind of sad, but I like to call this the Twitter checking level, because there's quite a few sections where I can just tab over to Twitter and not paying attention. Okay. Fun fact, because of the reset jumps and the fact that this wall has many collisions, a task of no GGS would actually just skip this whole order scroller section by jumping up the walls and going up to the thing. So, yeah, we ain't TAS up in here. So yeah, during this point in the run, I don't even hold R, because it's still not faster to hold R. Oh no, the water's gonna catch up. Oh dear. Oh, hey fella. Alright, so this is the Twitter checking boat. This is where I tab over to Twitter and see how Twitter is doing. Lovely. Twitter is doing a good time. Hell yeah. I got 2 tweets. Because Swift tweeted me too. Heck yeah. Alright, so we're coming up to the end of the order scroller now. We don't actually have to pick up this power-up, it's just kind of one of those optional power-ups. Basically what it does is any monster that's nearby when you ground pound will be stunned. Pretty useless. Yeah, that's just that. Alright, so this is the point in the run that my splits have appropriately titled RNG Bullshit, because we get to fight the second major boss of the run, or of the game, Green Ghost, and he's quite a magnificent sight to be, but we'll see him when we see him. For now we have to sit here and wait for these cycles. I hate these key cycles because no matter how fast you go, no matter how slow you go, they will always take 1,000 years to actually come out of the graves. Alright, so right here we can do another cutscene skip by killing ourselves. And there we are. And another thing about this level is we can skip 2 cutscenes. So there's a cutscene that plays whenever you knock down this first urn. However, if you just don't knock down the first urn, and just knock down the second, third, and fourth urns, and then go back to the first urn, there's another cutscene that plays when you knock down all 4. So if you knock down the first one last, it overwrites each cutscene, so only one will play. And right here you get to see this game's amazing swing physics that are really not accurate to real life. If you ever play this game, I implore you to just swing back and forth on swings like that, because you'll just be amazed on how physics work. Your science teacher will cry. Alright, so there's an RNG cutscene skip you can do there. We really don't know if what will cause it or not, but usually the game likes to lag as it enters that cutscene. If it does lag, you have the chance to jump into the pit before it goes to the cutscene, or sometimes it will just have no lag and just instantly play the cutscene before you even entered. But right here, remember what I said earlier about how you can't activate warp gates until you've been in the same room as them? Well, the developers thought that when they were going through each one, until they reached this level, when they went, oh hey, we forgot to turn off that one warp gate that skips a 750 snack gate, so now we can just go straight to the boss. Whoops. Thanks guys, you just gave us an unintentional skip. Alright, so this is the level I like to confirm my snack count, because there are quite a lot of snacks in this level. I think we're fine. Yeah, we'll be definitely fine. We're more than fine, in fact. Ooh, there we go. Alright, so this is Green Ghost. Cutscene skip here. Raphne. Alright, so the reason this is RNG is because you have to attack him by letting him float over one of these crypts and then hitting the button to suck him in. Now, there's 2 types of RNG going on in this fight. There's Daphne, who opens the crypts, and there's Green Ghost, who will fly to each crypt. You want Daphne and Green Ghost to go to the same crypt over and over again. And are you haha. So we just basically got perfect RNG, so that just voids any explanation I just made. Thank you, and good night.
Nice. You did it, dude. We did it.
And I totally just golded that split by 20 seconds. Awesome. So yeah, now we can go back to this level and go do what Anderson did, but we now have the umbrella, which is basically just a glide. It allows you to glide across large gaps, and also you can fly up updrafts. Also, cheap shop developers of the game. Whenever you spawn in, you always get hit by that bat. Oh, hello. I didn't hit you. Wow. Collisions are great on these buttons. So yeah, now that I have enough, more than enough snacks, I really don't have to worry about collecting them now. I can just run through each level. Okay. So this level's pretty dumb. These cauldrons, their hitboxers are dumb and stupid and dumb and stupid. But luckily, I didn't get trolled by the bubbles, so we're fine. And right here, you're supposed to just grab Shaggy and jump up to this key, but thanks to jump resets, we don't need that. However, I still need to do the jump resets first. Dang it, I got the jump there, but I didn't think I got it. Ooh. Give it 2 more tries and then we'll grab Shaggy. Collisions on these walls are weird. Okay, there we go. And then I'll charge into this magnifying glass. I missed it. But if you charge in that magnifying glass, you can move around when this cutscene plays. And right here is Redbeard skip. So So yeah, thanks to jump resets, we just skipped having to fight Redbeard, which is the third major boss. And in this room is really significant because this is where Green Ghost Skip is performed. So on the left side of the room in that fan room, there is a wall that you can jump up. And in fact, just because I screwed up there, I'll just show right here. You can jump up this wall and reset your jump 3 times. It's easier to do with the umbrella. But if you do it perfectly, you can land up here and then use a bat jump reset to reach into this room without having to fight Green Ghosts. It saves 5 minutes, and yeah, it's pretty precise, and yeah, I don't really... I clearly suck too much at it. This room has an electrified floor, but you can just stand on things, so you don't have to worry about it. Alright, first try button. So yeah, this is the lab, this is the final level in the game. It's got really epic music that I used to love, but now is now the bane of my fucking childhood because of GGS. And right here, we actually go through a separate door than you're supposed to, because I'm going to do a trick called Leto Skip, named after the runner himself, because it's the only trick that he found in this game. And it's just doing a few jump resets to get up to the snack gate without having to go through the level. The first 2 jumps are pretty easy, but the third jump towards the invisible wall is pretty dumb, because you have to do it blind. Yeah. I must be not getting enough hype for that. I think I got to... Oh, hello. Didn't do the second jump. There you go. Okay. There you go. Lovely. And now we've paid our 850 snack gate. So now we're fine. Sorted. And that's the last we have to worry about snacks for the run. So now we can just go speedy. There is a run that I was actually explaining to Mr. Succinct here before the run. There's a run called Cheat Percent, where you start off the game fresh and then put in all the cheat codes to give you all the power-ups and all the warps straight off the bat. And then the run literally just becomes snack grinding for 10 minutes. And that's not really interesting at all. I don't know why everyone in the community likes to call it like one of the best categories, but no, it sucks. You literally just go to one level, go, yep, there's 100 snacks, okay, here's another level, 100 snacks, and we're done. Thanks for watching.
Nice, sounds amazing. Make it a donation and send it.
No, never. Stop
if
this.
If someone gives me $10 right now, I'll make him do it. I'm not fucking joking.
Alright. So now we get a skip that's actually named after yours truly. This is Gold Skip. This is really not that big of a skip, it saves a second. But it's all I have.
You got a skip named after you, take it. I haven't got anything named after me.
So what you do here is you just fly off the gap, you don't have to go through the vats. And we're gonna do a Mastermind Phase 1 skip right here. This wall has a weird collision, you can just clip through it by charging into it. And you can just hit the buttons for the first phase of the boss. And that skips the first whole wave, so... Yep. So now we're in the second wave. What's really sad about this is that you don't get to hear the epic boss music for this fight. So, I'm sorry. It's a nice jazz rendition with Tim Curry singing, but... You know. Guess this is the one run that you don't get to hear the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Instead, you just have to listen to the boring old machine music. Alright. So yeah, this first part of the fight is just killing enemies and knocking the buttons. Alright. So this second half is based on where the Mastermind spawns, and we have to knock into the electricity. The final timing is when he hits the electricity, so get your finger ready on that button, Mr. Succinct.
Okay. No, iTunes is trying to update.
Oh, look at that! That is perfect. He's spawned right in front of the electricity. Lovely. So now we just wait. And time. There you go.
39:47.
Yeah. So sub 40. It was a good speed run.
Very well done.
Yeah. So yeah, this run's pretty neat. I've played this game since I was a young lad when I first got my GameCube. And figuring out the speedrun tricks with the community has always been fun. The community for this game is actually kind of a hidden one. There are quite a lot of people that run this game. Although quite a few of them do have quite a slow age, but enough about that, yeah. So, good speedrun. Thanks for having me. And as again, this run was dedicated towards my late dog. So, I don't know what's next, actually. What is next?
Metal Storm by Uranium Anchor.
Ooh, fancy.
See, he runs 2 NES side-scroller kind of games about giant robots. Metal Storm is the better one, but it gets into less marathons. But because I was choosing the games, I got to be incredibly biased about it.
Hell yeah.
This is the fun part about choosing your own game lists for marathons. Alright, thanks for the run, Gold.
Yep. Cool.
I'm gonna go to intermission.